Hi everyone, this is lesson 1-1, video 1.1.4, and in this video our learning target will be for students to be able to evaluate functions. In example 4, you're asked to find function values. In example 4 part A, our function f of x is x squared minus 2x minus 8, and we're asked to evaluate the function at f of 3. Now to review, if you remember from Algebra 2, a function f of x is really the same thing as saying y. So this function right here, f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 8, could also say y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8 if I make a substitution for f of x. Okay? So f of x and y are interchangeable. They mean the same thing. So what I want to do when I'm asked to find f of 3, so if I rewrite the function f of x instead of y, when they ask me to find f of 3, you can see inside the parentheses here, I am now replacing this x value with 3. So on the other side of the equal sign, I'm going to replace each of these x values with a 3, and then I'm going to follow the order of operations to evaluate my function. So when I substitute 3 for all the x's in the equation, I end up with 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 8, which is 9 minus 6 minus 8, which is equal to, if I follow order of operations from left to right, 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 8 then gives me a negative 5. So my answer here, f of 3 is equal to negative 5. What you're really stating here is if this is my x value at 3, or if x is 3, then my y value is negative 5. So in other words, if you were to graph this equation right here, the ordered pair 3, negative 5 would be on the graph. X is 3, y is negative 5. Okay, in example 4, part B, we are going to use the same function f of x, except for this time, instead of evaluating the function for a single number or value, we are now going to type in or evaluate at an expression. This expression is negative 3d. Okay, so if you look at f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 8, and I'm asked to find f of negative 3d, as you can see, x has been now replaced in the parentheses with negative 3d, which means that in each of these x values, I'm going to take the x values out and replace them or substitute with the expression negative 3d. I get negative 3d squared minus 2 times negative 3d minus 8. Now, from there, I square negative 3d, I get 9d squared, because negative 3 times negative 3, or negative 3 squared, is 9. D times d is d squared. Here, if I multiply negative 2 and negative 3d, negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6d. And then I just have a minus 8 on the end. So this is my answer. If I evaluate the function at negative 3d, f of negative 3d is equal to 9d squared plus 6d minus 8. In example 4, part C, we have the function x squared minus 2x minus 8 again, and this time we're going to evaluate for another expression, 2a minus 1. So if I write out the function f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 8, and I now want to evaluate that function f at 2a minus 1, you can see that I have taken the x value here, and now instead of x inside the parentheses, I have 2a minus 1, which means that each of these x values are going to get taken out and replaced with 2a minus 1. So I have 2a minus 1 squared minus 2 times 2a minus 1 minus 8. Now, I need to think about this 2a minus 1 squared. A power cannot be distributed to each of the terms. It's not like I can take 2a minus 1 and say 2a is square that and I get 4a squared and then square the negative 1 to get positive 1. When you have two terms, this is called a binomial because bi means two. So I have binomial here because I have two terms. And when you square a binomial, remember something squared really just means that thing times itself. So 2a minus 1 quantity squared is 2a minus 1 times 2a minus 1. Now, what I need to do here, when you multiply a binomial here times another binomial here, you use the FOIL method. The FOIL method means, F-O-I-L, means to multiply the first terms together. So these two together right here, the first terms in each parenthesis, those are your first terms. So 2a times 2a is going to give me 4a squared. Then you'll multiply your outer terms together. And so the outer terms are right here. This is O, your outside terms. So 2a times negative 1 is going to give you negative 2a. Your inner terms is going to give you negative 1 times 2a, which is negative 2a. And L, for last, is going to give you these two values. Negative 1 times negative 1 is your L. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So if I simplify here, I can combine like terms in that negative 2a and negative 2a are both like terms. And so to combine them, I'm going to get a negative 4a. So I still have my 4a squared there. And if I combine these like terms, I get a negative 4a because minus 2 and a negative 2 make negative 4. And then I have a plus 1 at the end. Now, realize that all I've done so far is expand this binomial here. I still have to distribute the negative 2 here and subtract an 8. And I'm going to continue that on the next slide. Okay, picking up where we left off on the last slide, I had expanded 2a minus 1 by taking 2a minus 1 times 2a minus 1. That gave me 4a squared minus 4a plus 1. And now I still have to simplify all this extra stuff at the end. So I'm going to start by distributing the negative 2 through the parentheses here, and I get a negative 4a plus 2, and then I have a minus 8 at the end. I have 4a squared minus 4a plus 1 minus 4a, and then the 2 minus 8 actually gives me a negative 6. Okay, combining like terms here, I see I have a negative 4a and a negative 4a, which give me negative 8a. So I have a 4a squared minus 8a, and then I have positive 1 and a negative 6. If I combine those, positive 1 minus 6 is going to give me a negative 5. And that is my final answer when I evaluate the function x squared minus 2x minus 8 for the value of 2a minus 1. Okay, in example 4, check for understanding. I have the function f of x equals 3x minus 4 divided by x squared plus 4x plus 4, and I want you to find the value of f of 6. You have 4 choices, A, B, C, and D. A is 7/32, B is 11/32, C is 7/17, and D is 7/8. Go ahead and work out this problem and then submit your answer. In example 4, check for understanding, part B, f of x equals 3x minus 4 divided by x squared plus 4x plus 4. I want you to find f of 2a. You have 4 choices, A, B, C, and D. Select your answer and press submit.